concrete whispers through the night. Shadows dance in the neon light. Hustlers trade the time for gold. Dreams bought and sold. Bought and sold. East Coast Krime Netwerk. Streets never sleep. Secrets buried. The pavement runs deep.
Viewer discretion is advised.
This is East Coast Krime Network, and I'm your host, Big Low Block, filling in for my guy, Cortez Block. Today, I've got a wild story for you, a tale that dives into obsession, jealousy, and the dark sides of family ties. Meet August. Now, August was not your everyday girl. She was a really big girl, tipping the scales at 309 pounds. She had a relationship with food that was pretty unique, and let's just say, she used her size to her advantage, sometimes to bully those who were a bit slimmer than her. Being fat wasn't just a circumstance for August. It was a source of power. Now, there's something else you should know about August. She identified as a dyke. Her story takes a drastic turn when I talk about her cousin, who I'm going to call Miss Funnelcake for privacy reasons. Miss Funnelcake was an exotic dancer. And unlike most cousins, these two weren't exactly close. August took that distance and turned it into an obsession. You see, August would actually transform her appearance, becoming a transgender man just to sneak into the clubs where her cousin danced. Yeah, she was that obsessed, spying on her cousin in a completely nude setting, while Miss Funnelcake thought she was just doing her job. The more she watched, the more obsessive and jealous August became, eventually spreading lies that she had slept with Miss Funnelcake. For over a decade, these fabrications festered in their community. Folks started to believe that Miss Funnelcake was involved in something incestuous, with men backing away and labeling her as gay. As you can imagine, this didn't sit well with Miss Funnelcake. Knowing something was seriously amiss, things took a turn when she encountered August at a cookout. That day, August was with her new fiancé, whom surprisingly was a man, and everyone was there cheering her on. But August's obsession for Miss Funnelcake never left her. She started sending harmful text messages from random numbers, calling Miss Funnelcake from blocked lines, making her uneasy and scared. So, after a rough encounter with a man in Milwaukee, whom she wisely decided to leave, Miss Funnelcake ran right back to her mother's house in Jacksonville, Florida. But guess who was chilling there? You got it, August and her fiancé. In a shocking twist, they suggested a threesome, which Miss Funnelcake naturally declined. Understandably overwhelmed, she dashed to the bathroom to throw up. But when she came back, August had some chilling words for her. Everyone already believes that we did it, so you might as well. If you tell, no one is going to take your side. No one even likes you. They like me. Can you imagine that kind of manipulation? It's disturbing. In a fit of rage and a desperate need to escape, Miss Funnelcake grabbed a bottle of acid from the garage and threw it on August and her fiancé. What happened next? Their faces started to melt. In the chaos, Miss Funnelcake's mother rushed home and called the cops, but in the panic, Miss Funnelcake ended up throwing acid at her mother before she took off. Fast forward, Miss Funnelcake found herself in prison. And one day, guess who strolled in? August, now with a deformed face from the acid attack. She approached Miss Funnelcake and chillingly declared, "You'll never be able to get away from me. You belong to me." Can you imagine the horror that went through Miss Funnelcake at that moment? Fueled by disgust, she tried to fight back with a makeshift shank, but August's size, it played a part there too. Sadly, Miss Funnelcake lost the fight, and her nightmare was far from over. Inside the penitentiary, Miss Funnelcake endured unimaginable trauma at the hands of her own cousin. This haunting story is a harsh reminder that betrayal can come from those closest to you, sometimes in the most unimaginable ways. So, folks, as I wrap up, remember, not all family ties are strings of love and support. Some can turn into webs of obsession and abuse. This is Big Blow Block, subbing in for Cortez Black. Stay vigilant, trust your instincts, and let's keep the conversation going. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and stay tuned for more stories on East Coast Krime Network. Peace.
Hi. East Coast Krime Network. Streets never sleep. Secrets buried.